Late one rain-soaked evening, billionaire entrepreneur Arman Halim returned to his sprawling mansion earlier than planned, his mind heavy with boardroom battles and silent grief, never imagining that the moment he stepped inside his own home would shatter everything he believed about loyalty, power, and love, because as he moved quietly through the marble hallway, he heard a child's desperate sob echoing from the living room, a sound so raw it froze him in place, and when he peered inside, his heart nearly stopped as he saw his young son Adam trembling behind the maid, Sophia, her arms spread wide like a shield while Adam's expensive toys lay scattered and broken on the floor, and standing just a few steps away was Arman's elegant wife, Adam's stepmother, her face twisted in anger, her hand raised mid-motion. And in that instant Arman realized he had walked into a truth far more brutal than any business betrayal he had ever faced, because Sophia, the quiet maid he barely noticed, was risking her job, her safety, and her future to protect his son from cruelty that had been hiding in plain sight. Time seemed to slow as Arman watched Sophia's hands shake while she pleaded softly, her voice breaking as she begged for the child to be spared, insisting that Adam had done nothing wrong, while Adam clutched the back of her uniform, his small fingers white with fear. And Arman felt a surge of rage so intense it made his chest burn, but instead of storming in immediately, he stayed hidden for a few seconds longer, forcing himself to see, to understand, to witness the reality he had been blind to, as his wife hissed words meant to wound, calling the child weak, calling the maid replaceable, unaware that every cruel syllable was carving itself into Arman's soul. When he finally stepped forward, the room fell into a suffocating silence, his wife's face draining of color as she realized she had been seen, while Sophia instinctively moved Adam further behind her, as if Arman himself might also be a threat, and that small action broke something deep inside him, because it showed how little his own son trusted the world built by wealth and walls, and in a voice colder than winter, Arman asked a single question: what is going on here? Yet the answer was already written in the tears on his child's face and the bruises hidden beneath long sleeves he would later discover. His wife tried to explain, to twist the story into discipline and disobedience, but Arman raised his hand and stopped her, kneeling instead before Sophia and Adam, telling his son softly that he was safe now, words Adam had not heard in a long time. And as Sophia finally broke down, confessing how she had intervened again and again, how she had been threatened with dismissal if she spoke, how she stayed because she could not abandon a child being hurt behind closed doors, Arman felt shame crash over him heavier than any financial loss, realizing that while he was busy building an empire, a woman with nothing but courage had been guarding the most precious part of his life. That night, everything changed, because Arman did something no one expected. He asked Sophia to stay, not as a maid, but as family, promising her protection and respect, while his wife was asked to leave the house immediately pending a full investigation. And in the days that followed, Arman uncovered painful truths, confirming patterns of emotional and physical abuse that made headlines when he chose not to hide them with money, but to confront them publicly, declaring that no child should suffer in silence, not even the child of a billionaire. He rearranged his life from the ground up, reducing his workload, attending therapy with Adam, learning how to be present instead of powerful, and he gave Sophia a new role overseeing the household and Adam's well-being, funding her education and securing her future. Yet what mattered most was the trust slowly rebuilding in Adam's eyes, the way he began to laugh again, to sleep through the night, to believe that adults could protect instead of harm. And as months passed, Arman used his influence to launch foundations for child protection and domestic worker rights, openly crediting a brave maid who stood between a frightened child and cruelty when no one else did. On the anniversary of that night, Arman told his story on camera, his voice steady but emotional, admitting his failures and urging parents to listen, to look closer, to value humanity over status. And as he hugged Adam and Sophia stood nearby, no longer in uniform but as a guardian and mentor, Arman reminded the world that real wealth is measured not by money, but by the lives we save when we choose courage over comfort. And if this story moved you, if it reminded you that heroes often wear simple clothes and quiet hearts, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more powerful stories that reveal the hidden truths behind closed doors and inspire us all to be better, because the next story might just change the way you see the world.